Hello, my fellow foodie friends. I am back with a what's for dinner. I have 4 dinners for you, and we're starting with pizza balls. Pizza balls are something that I saw floating around on the internet on Facebook years ago, and my family has loved ever since. We are making pizza balls, biscuits, stuff them with parmesan and pepperoni, top them with butter, garlic, parmesan, and Italian seasoning, and then I just spice up the traditional sauce from Aldi since they don't sell a pizza sauce, and we dip them in here. And we'll have salad and some fruit. Easy weeknight dinner, family favorite. My 9-year-old is actually going to make these with me. After we sprayed the pan, we opened 2 cans of the 10 biscuits. You want to make sure you do not get jumbo. I accidentally did that once and they were way too jumbo. Imagine that. But you take the regular size biscuits and you put 2 pieces of pepperoni and some shredded mozzarella, or you can cube up a block of mozzarella. It's actually a little easier and less messy, but I knew I had mozzarella in my cheese drawer to use. And then you stuff it and you fold it and you make a ball. It's really easy. You saw it. And now we have filled the entire pan. We have 20 of them in here, and we have melted butter with some minced garlic and some Italian seasoning. I don't measure any of it. I just melt it. And if I run out, I put a little bit more in there. And if I have extra, well, I just keep slathering. And then I sprinkle it with grated parmesan. This is, like I mentioned, a true family favorite. We all gobble these up, and I do end up making a few of them without pepperonis in there for my daughter that does not eat meat. But overall, it's a very well received meal, and I've been making this ever since I saw it floating around on Facebook years ago. While those are baking, I do kind of doctor up the traditional marinara sauce from Aldi just because they don't sell a pizza sauce. So I put the same seasonings, garlic, Italian seasoning, parmesan, into the red sauce, and then I'll just heat it up right when the pizza balls are ready. I have a salad, just using a salad mix, sunflower seeds, ranch, and if you are like me, you are a dipping fiend. I love dipping all my foods. So on my plate, you saw that I had some ranch. I added sriracha to it because I love spicy foods. And then I am going to put the doctored up pizza sauce, and I dip every single bite of my pizza balls into all 3 of the sauces. If you are not a sauce fan and you are boring like my husband, you don't have to put all the sauces on your plate, and they're good just as they are. But I highly recommend the ranch sriracha pizza sauce mix. And that is our pizza ball dinner. Easy, delicious, and we round it out with the grapes. So we get our veggies in there, but we all love the pizza balls most. And now I'm moving on to chicken and fried rice. This fried rice is from Trader Joe's. It was recommended to me earlier in the summer to try out the fried rice. Actually, many people said that we needed to try it out, and it did not let me down. It was so good. I was kind of thrown off by having the corn and lima beans in there, but you know what? It added some veggies, and my whole family still scarfed this down. So to start out, I cooked chicken breast in the Instant Pot. I didn't share that. I didn't think to share that, but I am now chopping up 1 single chicken breast and sauteing it in a pan. Don't judge my need to be replaced pans, but we're looking for a deal, people. I have that sauteing with sesame oil, and then in my big old pan that wants to be a wok, I have some olive oil, and I'm adding in 2 full bags of the Trader Joe's fried vegetable rice. I knew that we would eat 2 bags. We definitely did because my kids love rice. Actually, they really love white rice, but if I can get them to eat fried rice with some vegetables in there, I consider that a win. So while that is sauteing, I just continually stir it so that I can break up the frozen chunks, but it was super easy. Literally, that's all you do is heat it up. And then the chicken that I had cooked, I am just browning it, and then I'm going to go in and add some sweet chili garlic sauce. I got that at an Asian supply store, restaurants. They have all the different Asian sauces, and I didn't do anything to it. So this was a really, really easy, quick dinner. I have mentioned before that I used to be a working mom, and I really would pride myself on working hard to still make dinner every night, but I really learned to cut corners and do efficiencies, and fried rice is definitely one of those things that comes together quickly, and if you get it frozen, it really comes together quickly. So I served it with some blueberries, And you can see this is the broth that was left. I simply put chicken breast in some chicken broth in the Instant Pot and let it cool. Once it's cool, I simply strain it into a mason jar. I make sure that these are clean, sterile mason jars, and then I pop the lid on and I freeze it. You don't want to fill it up too much, otherwise your jar will crack. But I put it right in the freezer, and then when I need chicken broth for a future recipe, it is good to go. I'm pouring a little excess out because I put a little bit too much under there. I like to get it right below the curve of the jar. I don't know if that makes sense, but right where I have it. Our third meal of this What's for Dinner is an Italian pasta salad. This is something that I really love to have. I make it when I need lunches in the future, so this makes a large quantity. My whole family will gobble this up. It's probably my husband's least favorite out of all of us, but my kids really like it. I love it, and it's very refreshing. But we make this, and I really like to make it when we have like a weekend at home, because I know my kids will not only eat it for a dinner, but then they'll eat it for 2 consecutive lunches until it's gone. So what you do is, you saw my spaghetti boiling, and now I'm adding in 1 can of tomato sauce, which is literally a quarter at Aldi, an entire container of zesty Italian dressing, cutting up some pepperonis, however much you want. And all of these things that I'm adding, I don't measure. I honestly go through and see what vegetables need to be used, or I make sure I have enough vegetables to put in there. But I had some broccoli I needed to use. I had a cucumber. I'm adding some carrots. Really, there is no wrong answer, but the crunchy, hearty vegetables are really going to be good in there. Celery would have been good if I had that on hand. But I'm just dicing up all my vegetables and putting them in there. My noodles were done, so I just drained them right now, but I'm not putting them in yet because you want them to be cool when you add them into the rest of the mixture. You don't want to add in the hot noodles. So here I am just using my vegetable peeler to make carrot slices. The peeler makes very thin, easy slices, and it's easy to work at a quick pace. And now I am just removing the tops of my broccoli. This salad really works well when you just get the very top of the florets and not really much stem. So I'm working my way through the broccoli. I really love the crunchiness that the carrots and the broccoli bring, and it's a great opposition to like the soft noodles. And once again, having the hearty vegetables in there allows them to not get soggy when they're sitting in the acidic Italian dressing and the tomatoes. The cucumbers are obviously a little more on the softer side, but they held up well. I just diced those in there. And I'm going back to my noodles. They have cooled significantly, and now I'm running them under the cold water just to make sure that they're cooled fully before I add them into the dressing vegetable mixture. This is really good with fresh chives. I didn't have any on hand. Really good with some fresh onion, but I'm the only one in my family that would love to add a bunch of raw onion. I love raw onion, and I know that's like a minority opinion, so I omit it in my recipe, but I added the noodles, and here I am stirring it all around, and I'm making a separate bowl without garbanzo beans and black olives because my husband would not like those 2 items, but you just saw I spilled my garbanzo beans all over the floor. In the name of simplicity, I really like to add in an entire can of something. I'm not about to try to store it and use it later unless I know I'll use it for something else, but I just dumped the entire can of black olives in and the entire can of garbanzo beans. And here I pulled this out of my freezer, just garlic bread. Whenever I find those on sale at Aldi for $1 off, that's essentially half price, I stick them in my freezer, and they make great additions to meals. So I didn't show you guys cooking it, but I just slapped it in the oven, cooked it according to the directions, and served it as a side with this pasta salad. And it was a very yummy quick dinner. My kids all love it. You'll see their review here in a second. But there you go. It's an Italian pasta salad. I think I've heard it called Italian spaghetti before, but my mom used to make this, so I like making it because it makes me think of her. And I love meals that carry over well as good lunches. Hey hey Alice, how do you like the dinner?
Good.
What do you give it on a scale of 1 through 10?
10.
10? Well, you don't want cucumbers in the salad. You already told me that. 9. Thanks, babe. Cal, what do you say? We got wet hair, swimmy kids. Oh, he gives it 2 thumbs up. Thanks, buddy. So this next and final meal is actually a very nostalgic meal for me. I love sauerkraut and egg noodles with kielbasa or sausage. This is an andouille sausage. This meal actually really reminds me of my mom again, because my mom would make us egg noodles and sauerkraut with sausage, and I remember her kind of making it like vague, you know, fuzzy memories, but I really remember her saying that as kids we would shout and like hooray for sauerkraut, and she used to laugh thinking she was probably the only mom in America who had kids that were excited for sauerkraut. So making this meal is fun for me. It's one that I definitely like way more than my family, because I'm the only one, well, one of my daughters loves sauerkraut as well. So her and I are the only ones that really, really love this meal. The other people just tolerate it for us. But I love sauerkraut and I really love sausage. So together I am super happy. But I was getting my green beans boiled. I just took the stems off of them. Sorry I talked over all that part, but here in my Instant Pot, inner pot, I have added 1 tablespoon of caraway seeds, 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. I'm just dashing some pepper in there. My sausage is in the inner pot and you can see that it's on saute. I am just browning the sausage, getting some nice color on there, getting the caraway seeds just a little bit toasted, and just mixing it all in there. Once it is set, Cal and I are opening a large jar of sauerkraut. You can really add as much or as little as you want, but I did about half the jar. That's about 14 ounces. I think that's a 28-ounce jar. So I'm just adding in half the jar. Really, I could have put the whole thing in there and been happy, but I didn't really want to stink my family out. I love sauerkraut, though. If you ever see me make a bratwurst or a hot dog and sauerkraut's available, I have about 75% sauerkraut and the rest of the stuff is hidden. But I'm just kind of evening everything out, and then I add an entire bag of egg noodles on top. You can see Kel is happy to test a raw noodle for me. And once the noodles are in there, I make sure that it's flat, and I have 4 cups of water measured in a measuring cup, but I just add it until the water is barely above my noodles. That's why it's important to make sure your noodles are flat and even, so that you can see that you have enough water to cover it, but you don't want too much, otherwise it'll be too soupy. I like it to be a little bit brothy in the end so that when it sits, it can kind of soak it all up. But I have my Instant Pot sealed and set for 8 minutes. I do the manual pressure button. Once it cooks, you let the air out, and here's what it looks like. So you can see it doesn't look like there's much broth in there, but once you stir it around, it has the nice flavoring. If you don't have an Instant Pot, this can be made on the stovetop. You just cook your noodles separately, and then you'll add them in once the noodles are cooked. And you definitely want to cook them a bit in the sauerkraut so that it takes on some of that flavor. But this was done long before the Instant Pot. My mom would make it on the stovetop. My green beans are done boiling. I have removed them from the strainer, and I am adding in just a tablespoon of butter. I sprinkle salt and pepper in there, and then I just put a lid on and let them saute and kind of simmer down. We really like limp green beans when I make them, but I love fresh green beans all summer long. That is one thing that I will miss when it's winter time, is having the seasonal, always in stock and yummy green beans. But we are serving this again with garlic bread and strawberries, and it makes a nice well-rounded dinner. That is my What's for Dinner. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm going to link my last What's for Dinner in case you missed that. I make dinner for my family almost every single night of the week, and I love to save time and save money and still provide a good meal. And if that's something that's important to you, I know we can be good friends.